What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. You know me. Just little old me on my channel here. No one around. I can do whatever I want. I could sit here in my underwear if I wanted to, because I'm the only one here at the Panda Research Institute. But that would mean that I would have to put on underwear. So, not going to do that. But people who run some YouTube channels that are far more famous, far better looking, far more talented, and come from much better stock and have a pedigree are people like Brian Tong. You may know the name Brian Tong, formerly of Apple, no, not Apple, but CNET's Applebite. So he would do a podcast. He was like one of the OGs. I followed him all the time, especially as I was transitioning off of PC to Mac and Apple and iPhone. Was really what drew me in. But man, he has been doing the online video thing, being an influencer, a reviewer for a long time, man. I have just loved following him. He seems to be fun and quirky and have a lot of personality. And so you can imagine how excited I was when I was in Hollywood, California. I was staying at a hotel for a conference and I was down in the lobby having a drink and I see what looks like Brian Tong walking by. And of course, what also is funny is I was sitting in the lobby of this hotel, and it's a fairly nice hotel. I cannot remember even what the name is, but it's a nice hotel. And there were actually a couple other celebrities having drinks in the lobby. Now, in Hollywood, I think this is totally common. Actually, one of them was Andy Dick, so I saw him a few tables over with some buddies, I don't know, having drinks or whatever. And then the other one was the guy from Spin City. I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, but I remember them pointing it out, and to me, honestly, I'm not a big celebrity guy. I'm not like someone who sees an actor and really gives a rip. It's cool. I'll mention it and I'll name drop them if I touch them and tell you that I'm best friends with them. I love to name drop, but I think if you are someone who is in the business, in the biz, as they say out in the West Coast there, because I know. But if you are someone who is trying to break into acting, I'm sure you are more impressed because you understand how difficult it is. Thus, it's the same for me. I don't really see myself impressed by celebrities per se, because maybe it's not a path I take, or honestly, some of these professions I don't really respect. Unless you're like an OnlyFans celebrity, because I've been trying to break out on OnlyFans. They keep saying it's easy money, but I keep taking my clothes off for that easy money, and it just doesn't seem to come in. It's the algorithm. It's the algorithm. That's what it is. So what I do get impressed by are people that are titans of the industry in a space that I have been working tirelessly here in for the last 10 years and doing my best. And I have a following, and you folks that follow the channel here and then interact with me and share comments and jump on chats, dude, I love it. And I realize it's not about the size. It's about the quality people. And even if I can't find a quality host for the show, I can certainly find quality viewers. So yeah, that's half the battle right there. But Brian has done a great job, bang up job. Obviously, he brought in a ton of people to view CNET. Eventually, he went on his own. I don't know when this was. I'm going to guess 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe, and maybe longer than that. Time flies a little bit when you get older, but I saw him, and I've never seen him in person or anything like that, but he's one of those guys that I've been following for so long and still continue to follow. He actually then, I think, ran a channel called like Apple Bits because he couldn't probably take Apple Bites. I think that was probably a thing that was owned by CNET. And then now, I don't know, his YouTube channel just maybe Brian Tong or Apple Insider or something like that, but I still follow it, and he does a great job. And so I saw him walking by, and I thought, oh, it's just passing by. He's a guy I know. Would love to talk to him because we're doing the same thing here. But what I saw is I saw him walk around the corner and actually speak at one of the will call windows, because there's a theater next door, to someone there, and it's part of the hotel. Anyway, so I see him standing there and talking to someone, and then obviously something's happening because he backs up and is just waiting there. And then I was like, dude, he's just waiting here, killing time, and obviously waiting for something to happen, maybe getting luggage or something. I'm not sure if he coat checked or whatever, or they were calling a cab or whatever it might be. But I was like, I'm just sitting here having a drink with a couple of buddies. If you guys don't mind, let me take a minute. I'll be right back. And they didn't mind at all. Just went 50 yards, 30 yards down the lobby outside, and I see him. He's facing away from me. And I kind of walk up to him and I say, and this is what's going through my head right at that moment. I've never really approached anyone like this, like a stalker. Usually I write a lot of letters in fake blood. But I didn't want it to be like too much of a stalker fanboy-ish. I actually, in my mind, actually say to myself, greet him in a way that makes him think that one of his old friends is addressing him or calling him. So I actually say, "Hey, Brian," just like that. "Hey, Brian," like not, "Hey, Brian, I'm not sure," which would have sounded a little bit more like a stranger, but it must have worked because he spun around and he said, "Hey," almost like he recognized me for a second and then realized he didn't, but then also realized maybe he had been introduced to me at some point. We're both Asian, whatever. He's, "Hey," he just spins around, sticks out his hand to shake it. And I say, "Hey, Brian Tong, my name's Pete, and I'm a fan. I've been watching your stuff for a long time, man. You just do awesome work. I still watch it to keep up to date on what's going on in Apple. And I just wanted to say it's fun to see you here. I hope you don't mind me coming up." And he's like, "No, not at all. Are you here for the event?" And I said, "No, I don't get invited to events." But apparently there was some sort of product release, and he was staying at this hotel for that. And I guess checking out some of the equipment, like at that window, getting his equipment out of checkout. And so we talked about it while they were getting that because it was taking, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And we just talked, and I asked him about his time at CNET, and he's on his own now, and he does everything on his own. I don't think he has a job other than what he's doing on social media. And then I even asked, because I remember this, I said, "Do you have someone who edits your videos?" Because I last year had hired someone to help take off some of the burden of editing videos just to be able to stay on top and focused on the filming. And he actually edits his own stuff. And his editing is really good. Obviously, as someone who's in the tech industry, probably be foolish to assume that he has not edited his own videos, but he does edit it very well. And I said, "You should think about getting an editor for those, take a little burden off your plate." We ended up talking a little bit about, he didn't live too far from here, but obviously this event was putting him up at the hotel, and just talked a little bit about some travel, and he's got some family, and he was shortly after that, I think, actually going to host, or not, I should say not host, but MC Microsoft's like all hands, all company meeting, which was awesome. So man, it's cool to see someone being able to do that. I wonder what that kind of pays, but hell, I do it for free because what an honor to be up there and, get that kind of recognition, validation, if you might want to say it that way. But he was just super duper nice. Now, what I wanted to say is I met Brian Tong and he did something. It's probably a little bit of an overstatement. He did take a selfie with me. So we took a photo together under the lights of the awning there at the front of the hotel. He was just super cool. I ended up following him on Instagram, commenting on one of his pictures, and remembered me a few days after that, which was cool. He wouldn't remember me at all anymore. But I just wanted to say that it's kind of like me. If you ever run into me, I always wonder about the people who've been doing this a long time and actually have a pretty big following and probably make a decent living off of it, if that kind of changes them. I never met Brian before. Can't tell you if he was a stand-up guy beforehand, but he was certainly an approachable, nice, average dude, and totally just like a fun-loving guy. He's in person who he is on camera. And if you ever run into me, I encourage you to say hi, because this is not an act. It's just what I like doing. I love talking about this stuff. In fact, several months ago, I was in the UPS store dropping off some stuff that I had bought, reviewed, and had sold on eBay and was shipping out. And the guy in front of me asked me if I was the panda. And I said, "Yeah, I am." But that's so funny. And he's, "Oh, I watch your stuff, and my son has one of your t-shirts." And that was cool. He showed me a picture of him mowing the lawn in my t-shirt. Obviously not wearing it out like a Supreme t-shirt, but as a work shirt, which was still pretty awesome. And we ended up shipping our stuff and going outside and just talking for probably 20 or 30 minutes after that. Now, I can't promise you that I always have that kind of time, but it was just fun to be able to meet someone locally who knew me, and we just share a lot in common. Another family dude, suburbanite, kind of average guy, checking out stuff, living life, trying to have a good time, discover new stuff and apply it and use it and have more experiences. Keep making deposits into that memory bank, if you will. So, just wanted to say that I don't know if you ever run into Brian Tong, but he was a super cool dude. Really liked him. I don't really run into a lot of YouTubers. Probably don't move in those circles per se, but it was just fun to finally meet the heroes. They say never meet your heroes. I don't know if I'd put Brian Tong in the category of heroes, but in the category of good dudes, yes. The trophy this year does go to Brian. So just wanted to relay that and say that, hey, if you see me drinking in the hotel by myself, don't judge. Just come up and talk. All right, that's it. That's my story for today. I'll see you later. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper. We can live better than ever thanks to Peter.